good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever to you, wherever you are. We're glad you're here to check out our presentation. I, Conrad Folks, and my colleague Mr. Ben Kale have been researching school technology plans that truly work, and we've made an attempt to narrow down the best practices we've found to a few key factors, which are, if you'll kindly look at the board, continuity, relevance, and adaptability. Now, these factors aren't a cure-all that will fix every problem concerning the successful implementation of innovative technologies in an educational facility, but the disciplines in which they thrive do seem to yield very successful results in terms of accomplished application of 21st century technologies. So Ben, what's the real deal here?
Modern technology-centered schools are leading the way in 21st century education. Though traditional high schools do not always have the resources or funding to accomplish as much, they can learn valuable strategies from these modern schools to increase staff pedagogy and implement successful technology plans in their schools. Conrad and I will focus on Philadelphia's High School of the Future as an example of a successful new technology-centered facility. We'll look at what traditional schools can learn from the High School of the Future in order to better bond technology into their curriculums.
Right. Take a look at this video that summarizes the motivations for and various perspectives on the School of the Future. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty.
Now, the story of a special partnership in Philadelphia, where Microsoft has helped build a school for the future. NewsHour correspondent Tom Bearden has our report.
West Philadelphia has the reputation of being a rough part of town. Not the kind of place that most cities would use to test out a new approach to public education. But this is where the school district has chosen to build what it calls the School of the Future. It's a gleaming $62 million edifice constructed on former parkland. It's just down the street from the modest row house where 9th grader Littleton Hurst lives with his mother, Eleanor Shockley.
I think everybody here is excited about it. Everybody, and the students that have been offered the opportunity to go there has been excited as well.
Supreme Court Justice.
One thing that has a lot of kids excited, every learner, they don't call them students, has a city-supplied laptop computer that they can take home. The laptops connect to the school's wireless network for high-speed internet access.
Now, obviously, this is going to be one of our first hurdles, student access. 100% student access to the technology through a one-to-one laptop-to-student ratio in this case is an example of having continuous interaction with the technology, even outside of the school setting.
Littleton Hurst and classmate Kassan Baker are thrilled to have them.
You can do everything faster. And if you do everything faster, that means you get more assignments. And the more assignments you do, the better your grade comes out.
How about you? How do you use yours?
Man, it's just like the same, work, and more work. That's all I do. I stayed up late nights, typing on my computer, finding out new stuff about it.
We spoke with the 9th graders in the Interactive Learning Center, a library with very few books. Nearly all the reference materials are online. Shirley Grover is the school's principal, although she calls herself the chief learner.
This is an opportunity to take technology, harness it, and harness the energy of adolescents by engaging them in relevant and meaningful learning. That's more lifelike, and we hope that will maximize their individual potential so that they can be those top scientists, those top mathematicians, those top problem solvers.
Is the laptop that each kid has the key to all of this?
Yes.
That's the portal.
Yes. It's actually the lifeline, I think, to learning.
Some are concerned students carrying those $1,500 computers through high crime areas will be a tempting target for thieves. But so far, there's only been one incident.
And that one incident turned into 4 incidents for the 08-09 school year. But, and this is actually somewhat surprising to me, the number of incidents has gone down each year, as our data implicates. So it's not really a problem for them. They must be doing something right.
The school opened with great fanfare on September 7th when the first students entered the building. 170 West Philadelphia freshmen selected by a lottery from a pool of over 1,500 applicants. A new set of ninth graders will be added each year until the building reaches its capacity of 750. The school received a lot of media attention because it's a joint venture between the Philadelphia public school system and the giant software company Microsoft.
So now it's big.
Microsoft's founder, Bill Gates, has long expressed concern about the state of American public education.
America's high schools are obsolete. By obsolete, I don't just mean that they're broken or are flawed or underfunded, though a case could be made for every one of those points. By obsolete, I mean our high schools, even when they're working as designed, cannot teach all our students what they need to know today.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has spent $2.3 billion on education projects around the world. But having forged partnerships with corporations before, Philadelphia School District CEO Paul Vallis approached Microsoft directly for help. Microsoft agreed to supply brain power, but declined to actually pay for the school.
It was advantageous to us because at the end of the day, the human resources is what we're seeking, and sometimes money can't buy high-quality human resources, and it's advantageous to them because it's just not about them writing us a check. It's about them putting some of their best and brightest on a project that is dear to their heart and that they're committed to.
Mary Cullinane is Microsoft's point person for the project.
Our goal here, though, was to demonstrate in West Philadelphia what's possible and then build resources and tools, best practices, case studies, assets on our website, quarterly briefings that we do, 4 times a year, which schools from all over the world come to learn about what's happening in Philadelphia. But what we didn't do is we didn't write a check. And we did that because we wanted other folks to look at this project and say, we could do that too.
Microsoft helped design every part of the school. For example, the classrooms don't have blackboards. They have electronic displays instead for internet access, videos, connecting with other classrooms around the world. All learners have smart cards, electronic ID badges that register attendance, open lockers, and will even track calories consumed at lunch. There's a help desk located on the 2nd floor for students to recharge batteries and get problems fixed. The biggest issue so far?
I need you to come up with the password, okay?
Forgotten passwords. There is no set schedule and location for classes. That information is posted online daily. This particular class was meeting in the school cafeteria.
You need photographs, you need interviews, you need to write something, and also your aspirations for the future. Is that clear?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Students study traditional subjects, but instead of taking compartmentalized courses in algebra or American Lit and doing conventional math and reading homework, they have a project-driven curriculum.
That's 3 years, right?
They are assigned issues to investigate and are expected to do original research. The idea is that dealing with real-world problems exposes students to many different fields of knowledge.
Billie Holiday, I did her too.
Teachers say the challenge is to use the technology to teach, not just teach the technology. Kathy Lee specializes in environmental studies.
The software is marvelous. It makes my job easier. But I think if I were to put on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I might make it like a 4 for me, personally. Because for me, it's the human interaction with the students. And it does allow me to open up doors that most teachers don't get the opportunity to do.
The 11 here, these 2 digits are not considered to be really high compared to the 50.
Principal Grover says the real innovation is creating a kind of Microsoft corporate culture in the school, a culture that demands success from both students and teachers.
The partnering on the outside is important to sort of have us. We've always looked inwardly as educators. It's sort of like been our little world, and we looked in and thought we knew the answers to what needed to be. And I think over the years what's happened is we've recognized the fact that we need to look outwardly also, that it has to be dynamic, both inside and outside, and because we're shaping kids for the world and not just for education.
For each characteristic in organism inherits 2 genes.
In the school for only a month, 9th grader Ryan Wheeler says that culture is already established.
They want you to succeed, so they like just...
As we recognize the fact that we need to look outwardly also, that it has to be dynamic, both inside and outside, and because we're shaping kids for the world and not just for education.
For each characteristic in organism inherits two genes.
In the school for only a month, ninth grader Ryan Wheeler says that culture is already established.
They want you to succeed, so they like just, go ahead, you can do it, you can do it. They give us time. They want us to succeed, so they keep pressuring us to do, because they're determined for us to take another step higher.
And I find it like we're making history right now as to be the first lucky 170 to walk in the school of the future. And I find that amazing how I got accepted.
But some critics wonder if the district can separate out all that's going on in the school to determine what's working and what's not.
It changes how I think we work with kids and we help them understand what information is.
Diane Jess Kettlehut is an assistant professor of science education at Philadelphia's Temple University.
If I was a student and I went to a school that had been built 50 years ago, was run down, and I walked in every day, the message I'm receiving is, my school doesn't matter, therefore I must not matter. I walk into a school that $65 million was spent on, and I say, wow, I was selected for this school. I must matter, and therefore this is an important place to be, and I have to live up to the expectations of me. And so it's very difficult to know whether what they're doing is because of their educational model, the business model, the technology, or just the fact that somebody spent time preparing and creating a good environment for learning.
We have to pause here because I think that this professor's observation is extremely important. These students have been given a sense of relevance for themselves. You can easily see by the interviewed students alone that they are excited to be a part of this school. Self-relevance, I think, is of utmost importance. It provides a sense of self-respect to the students, and I believe it is probably one of the easiest factors to replicate in other schools. Okay,
And Professor Jas Kettlehut wonders about the rest of the kids in the system.
let's finish this video off and continue.
Here in Philadelphia that has 200,000 students in it, and yet they've spent $65 million fixing up one school for 500 students. While that's great, and this is a model, is it a model for the rest of the Philadelphia schools? It's unlikely they can afford to do that with the other 40 or 50 schools that are in the school district. And therefore one wonders whether this is money well spent from that aspect, whereas what could we have done to raise the level for all students somewhat, as opposed to a lot for a small group of students.
CEO Vallis says the system plans to create 3,500 classrooms of the future over the next 18 months, eventually providing every public school student access to the same technology that kids in the school of the future enjoy, even if it's not in a new building. The school system says it has a rigorous, ongoing testing program to accurately measure whether the school of the future's approach actually has a future. They won't have definitive results for at least 4 years, when the students who started the school receive their diplomas.
One can see the success the students have achieved at High School of the Future by looking at the graduation numbers from 2010.
Absolutely. Take a look.
Of the 156 students who started school in 2006, 117 are graduating, and 30 transferred away, which leaves only 9 students who dropped out. That's better than the national graduation rate of 67%. This is a huge accomplishment for students who came from impoverished neighborhoods.
That's right, Ben. I consider this to be a testament to the fact that a continuous regimen of high expectations, coupled with access to exceptional tools, were the winning combination here.
The amazing thing is, of the 117 who graduated in 2010, all of them had college plans, either going to a 2-year technical school or a 4-year state school.
And what more could we ask for than that?
It should not be a surprise that every student that graduated in 2010 went on to further their education. On the first day of school back in 2006, every student was told to show up wearing a shirt from a college. Clearly, the goal of reaching college is an emphasis at the high school of the future. The emphasis on college, along with a focus on real-world skills, plus the presence of Microsoft and other sponsors, has had a measurable effect on students. These students come into the school realizing that they have a chance to succeed, and they strive to reach their goals.
Okay, So if the question is, are they doing something right? The answer is, yes. We can see that this school's method of implementing new technology to their community is reaping tech-savvy students who are confidently prepared for their future. Is it flawless, though? Nope. However, before we get to that point, let's learn a little more about the School of the Future's mission and how its current chief learner plans on accomplishing it.
The Bill Gates Foundation and the Philadelphia School District partnered with each other to bring the High School of the Future to Philadelphia back in 2006. The school is set up in West Philadelphia, an impoverished neighborhood. The idea was to prepare these students for the real world, being able to have skills and technology that would help them succeed after they finish their high school career. Looking at the mission statement here, you can see that the school focuses on three ideas: continuous learning, relevant learning, and adaptive learning.
Okay, so how is learning continuous?
Every student is given a laptop that they are able to take home and be able to continue working on projects and assignments 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Learning is also relevant. Students always are focusing on problem-based projects. Instead of standard curriculum studies, writing papers, writing essays, they're focused their time on using digital tools to solve real-world problems.
Yep. This kind of experiential model integrates the use of technology into real-life, project, and service-based learning experiences, the outcomes of which students have a naturally vested interest.
Learning is also adaptive. Every class in the High School of the Future is very student-centered. The teacher is there as a guide to help these students achieve their goals and allowing students to become more productive.
Something important to remember about the adaptability aspect is that students, outside of their own pursuit of knowledge and experimentation with the technology, will only adaptively apply these technologies to the extent in which the educator has taught them to. Don't get me wrong, some will grab it and fly off. A few days later, they'll come back ready to teach the class. Others, though, will lie stagnant if the teacher has a similar mindset in terms of their perspective on the applicable uses of the technology.
We had the unique opportunity of being able to interview a former teacher at the school. We asked him what he believed to be the successes and shortcomings in the school's short history. He told us that students have quickly bought into the unique curriculum and project-based learning assignments. Students are excited to go home and work on these tasks. On the other hand, we were told that teacher buy-in has come along slowly. Although granted access to exciting new resources, many teachers are reluctant to use them. A large percentage of the staff has come from traditional schools and seems stuck in their old ways. Teacher buy-in has improved over the years, but still has ways to go.
It's also important to note that these aren't any super special students or anything. Tell them, Ben.
Administration at the High School of the Future does not get to pick their students. As you can see, over 85% of the student body is economically disadvantaged. These students get to go to the school through a lottery system, where they are picked at random and are chosen to attend the high school.
Right. There's no special treatment, and it's a completely fair playing field. But let's see how they're doing with their PSSAs.
Looking at the PSSA data, one can see that the students at the High School of the Future struggle. Only around 20% of the students are proficient in advanced in 2011. But, as you can tell from the data, their scores have increased dramatically in the past 2 years. In 2008, only 8% of the students were proficient in advanced. The school is clearly doing something right. Scores have increased in both math and in reading.
So, in closing, these three aspects, continuity, relevance, and adaptability, are the forces behind such success as is occurring at Philadelphia's School of the Future. We can take these lessons and improve our own schools as they continue to gain more and more access to the very same technologies. It's simple. Thanks for taking the time to hear us out. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening. Thank you.